Hey there, good afternoon. Welcome to another edition of Recruitment Pubcast with my very good friends Mr. Andy Pitt.
Hello.
And Mr. Mark Thayer.
Hello.
And today we are in the Wild Man, which has been a mainstay pub in Norwich for many, many years and has just undergone a major revamp, and it's a very lovely space. Don't you think?
It's lovely, yeah. You've done a really good job in here.
And we've been looked after very ably by the bar staff, all right? You can't see. There you go. I'm drinking a pint of Daytime.
I've got a half of Moretti.
Of course, you've got
a coffee.
A coffee. Right, you know the format, boys. Let's just start. Let's go straight in. How are you?
Fine, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
He sounds lovely, doesn't he?
He sounds really, really healthy.
Well, you know. Thank you.
It's about what your badge that matches your shirt.
I like that, and then I'll just get lost on it.
You can have the purple one.
Oh,
yes, a pleasure.
Careful with the pin.
Thank you very much.
Right, you ready?
Yes, born ready.
Well, it's a very, very apt question to start with because it's got absolutely nothing to do with recruitment whatsoever, and we like that.
That's my subject. Good.
What would your drink of choice be, alcoholic or otherwise?
Well, I know what mine is. My drink
that's the whole
of
point.
choice
How this works.
is
you don't
is
keep
it?
it to yourself.
Okay. So I tend to drink
I like this format.
Yeah.
Scotch and American.
What's
So
that?
that's Canada Dry, dry ginger. Which
very 80s.
it is very. I've been drinking it since about the late 70s,
Yeah.
to be honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
But it does flummox the odd bar style.
Okay.
Because it's a Scotch and American. People don't always know.
Oh,
what
you're
that is.
mixing. Yeah.
Dry, American dry ginger, Canada Dry, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, and soft-wise, probably an Americano with a bit of milk, which I get from the Red Roaster every morning.
Lovely.
There you go.
Very specific.
Very specific.
Jack Daniels.
Now you've got lots of Jack Daniels. You have different types of Jack Daniels.
I do.
I have the headaches to prove it.
Yes.
The headache.
Yeah, and I.
Headaches to prove
Yeah,
it.
he's had the headaches to prove it. Yeah, and I have as well. But yeah, Jack Daniels very
With
simple.
any mixer or
No,
on ice?
no, just on its
On the
own.
rocks?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
No, not on the rocks, just straight.
Have you got those weird ice cubes that aren't ice cubes?
I'm not plastic
I've got whiskey stones, I think they're called, which are is marble, and you keep them in the
Marble?
freezer. And
So not the plastic ones that
No,
you just
the
read through.
marble.
Fair
Marble.
enough.
Yeah,
I
stones.
don't have plastic.
Well,
You can throw marble into the ocean and it doesn't kill the fish.
Well,
might hit them on the
It
head.
could hurt them, yeah, but it doesn't. Yeah.
Okay. And well, obviously we know what you're.
Coffee, yes.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Another non-recruitment question. Hey! If you had to delete all but 2 apps on your phone, which one would you keep? Which ones would you keep? God.
I would
Keep
keep.
it clean. It's a family show.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, fine. I keep Instagram only because, in fact, I love photography and like looking at other people's photos, and it gives me some inspiration in certain things. I delete them all apart from Instagram.
You probably don't have a phone with apps on it. You probably
No,
that one where you stand and hold the stick.
I've got
and you
little
put-
stickers on my
Hello?
speed dial at home. No, I would keep Spotify because I'm into my music and I wouldn't want to be without that because I've got a lot of vinyl at home, but only recently have I sort of got into Spotify because I was really scathing about it to begin with. But it's amazing now. You can go down tunnels for ages,
Yeah,
quite
you can.
following stuff,
Yeah.
and BBC News probably.
What's
So no social media at all.
Right.
What's been the most interesting thing that you've discovered in the last couple of weeks?
Well, weirdly, I've just started listening to a playlist with about 500 tunes on, which is The Road to Punk, and it's got stuff on from about the early 60s right through, and I've already found loads of tracks that I never knew existed. It's good.
Who knew? Actually, I keep Spotify as well. Completely forgot.
You
about
can't
Spotify.
copy me. That's
No, I
not
can.
fair.
I'm not copying. I'm
You're just getting
taking
inspiration.
inspiration.
Okay,
Exactly.
fair enough.
Ah, good. A recruitment question.
Oh,
Your Actually, before I ask it, what made you get into recruitment, Andy?
I sort of fell into it completely by accident. I'd been a bailiff.
Okay.
No, I can see how that fits with recruitment.
I did have a shaved head back then. I was. Yeah. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, I looked like a tennis ball that had been rolled through water. I was a bailiff for a number of years. Going around politely visiting people's houses and
Politely.
asking them for
That's
money.
payday loans, you think?
Oh no, way before then. I'm older than that. I ended up getting a little bit bored of being threatened on a daily basis, and I
chose recruitment.
Yes, yeah, of where you only get threatened on a weekly basis, which is lovely. And I just wanted something else to do. Basically, I got fed up after a couple of years and wanted something else to do. And looking through the paper, and I saw a job for a trainee recruitment. I had no idea what it was, so I went for it anyway, and got it. And that's it. That's how I got into recruitment.
You had no idea what you weren't thinking it was a recruitment trainee.
No, nothing.
Recruitment trained. Driver.
No, nothing like that. Sorry.
Well, it's about the same, really.
You was a bailiff
So
as well.
no, I wasn't a bailiff, but I've been in retail.
Did you meet him whilst you were collecting money?
Yeah, he owed 20 quid to the poll tax.
No, I've done retail management. I was in retail, so I've worked at Debenhams in Oxford Street, and then I ended up managing menswear shops all round up in Kettering and Bedford and places like that.
It'll ride up with
Then I had a spell on the doles, surprisingly enough. And a mate of mine said, come and meet, he'd just got into a job in recruitment in London, and it was only a small firm. And he said, come and meet Doug, the owner, have a chat with him, he might give you some ideas. So I went along and had a chat, and he actually offered me a job. So I genuinely didn't really know.
He was a great recruiter,
Well,
wasn't he?
yeah, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
I'm so committed to getting you a job, I'm going to give you one.
Yeah, well the good thing was, I mean, I've always worked for small companies rather than the nationals. I think I wouldn't have lasted if I was in a national, to be honest. But
How tall are you?
5'5".
So you only work for small companies.
Yes, I see what you mean. But it turned out to be the perfect job for me because I love introducing people to each other and making those connections, and it was just a natural.
Let me ask the question then, because you would think that segues neatly into that, wouldn't you?
You would.
It doesn't. I was just getting a bit bored of your
Okay,
answer.
I'm not surprised.
What are the top tips for any employee looking for a new role? What are the top tips for any employee
Who are we going to recommend?
looking for a new role? I guess this is rooted in what are your top tips you give to any employee for a new role?
My first one is the first thing if you're going to start looking for a job really is to work on your CV. I personally feel, because if you get that right, when you do decide what you want to do, you're going to get a much better response. And actually the process of doing your CV often gives you ideas or makes you realise that there's parts of your career that you hadn't thought about, and that can send you off. It gives you ideas about what to look for. So obviously that only really works if you've had a job before.
Yeah, I understand that. But everyone's done something, haven't they, to put on the CV?
But I mean, I think I often suggest people do a skill-based CV rather than a chronological job one.
Right.
And what's interesting is when they start to put their skill sets down, they realise there's whole chunks of their job that they take for granted, and they're often the bits they enjoy, if you see what I mean. So it can send them off. It gives them ideas about how to look. That would be where
Is there a format that you should follow with the CV in terms of the style of language, the way that you should present yourself? Because some people, when I read a lot of CVs, I've done for many years, some of them are sparse, boring, some of them are just like you're employing Obama.
Come on, Andy, this is your chance to.
I was just going to say, personally, I would just put your CV down as you feel. If you do it in a certain type of format, you're going to end up looking like everybody else is, basically. So I think it's best to try and portray your personality through your CV. Write it down as you feel you should write it down. I mean, you have to follow certain guidelines, and there's certain information that needs to go on there. And you can easily look up online how to make your CV look, but the rest should come from yourself, basically. And if you're looking at working with a recruiter, then we would.
Well, that's what I spend half the
advise.
time doing, really, because it makes my job easier if their CVs are easily viewed by someone looking at it, sort of thing. So I think the main thing is we've all seen the CVs where there's a whole page of text, and actually these days, because most of it's online, people are quite lazy. If they can't see what they're looking for quickly, it's easier for them to look at another CV.
Yes, right.
So it's just keeping bullet points are brilliant.
Right.
Don't write an essay, because if you can't see it quickly, they won't go any further with the CV.
And an employer will actually get somebody's CV, and they'll look at the name, they'll look at the jobs where you've been, they'll look at the titles and how long you've been there, and then if there's nothing interesting there, they won't go back and read it properly or fully, will they?
No, exactly that. They skim it. They're going to look at it for a minute often, and also nowadays there's a lot of parsing software, so quite often if you're applying to a large organisation, it won't even be a person looking at it to begin with.
Okay, so gentlemen, let's raise our glass to our first recruitment tip from the pub.
Cheers.
Cast on
Cheers.
recruitment. Cheers. Right. Quite smart.
I felt a bit good.
All right.
Coffee.
Do you want another coffee? Or are you going to be a bit hyper?
No, I'm going to have
want a
one
Jack
more
Daniels in
coffee.
the next one?
Oh God, I just want actually, can I have a Jack Daniels? No, I shan't. Can I have another coffee, please?
Yes,
Yeah, that's lovely, thank you. This sounds good.
Okay. Savile Row or Mountain Warehouse?
Hang on a minute. What are you talking to us? Which is which?
If we're really forced to choose here,
Yeah.
I'd have to go Savile Row.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, guess what? Mountain Warehouse
Where did
every
that
time.
come from?
So I'm not good at dressing to impress. I've been not allowed into more nightclubs than I remember for not being able to even get it together to get in
But
there.
would you want to go to a nightclub that would allow you in?
Absolutely, yeah. Well, I don't want to be
Are
dressed
there any
in
left to go to now?
not that
They don't
I'm
exist
allowed
anymore.
to. Not that I'm allowed to.
Not when you were on tour with Hitman and Her, not in those days.
But no, I think Mountain Warehouse practical rather than
Yeah.
flaunting it.
Would you be drawn to the fleeces or would you be pushed away from
I think I look for any gimmicks really, so anything tartan with a fleece lining.
And trousers with 12 pockets in it. Very utilitarian.
Savile Row, what would you go for? Something with a ruff?
Well, I go.
I just know that I'm not allowed to buy trousers without the help of an adult.
That's fair enough. Is that your missus?
Yeah.
Yeah, fair
Because
enough.
there's too much going on in certain places or not enough going on in others, or I don't know. There's some-
Do we
there's some
have to
room.
think about it?
No. I've never successfully bought a pair of trousers without the help of an adult.
No,
Okay.
I've got very short legs, so it's a struggle. I normally have about a foot of material dragging behind me.
You can't touch the floor.
No, no.
Is that your
Oh, actually, no, can I?
Sorry, that's just my legs swinging. I can't help it.
Okay, right.
Hang on a minute, this is a long one.
Yeah, it is. Some big words in this one.
Oh,
Don't
What is
ask
your-
me what sort of biscuit I want to do.
that's for next week. What is your favourite car you have owned? Did you have a name for it? What was your favourite car you ever owned, and did you have a name
That's
for
a
it?
question aimed directly at him.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first.
No, you go first.
All right. My favourite car that I ever owned was my 1968 Ford Mustang
Beautiful car.
Coupe. I didn't have a name for it though. I know I didn't have a name. Just kind of used to call it Christine
What colour
every
was
now
it?
and then. Thank you very much. Cheers. Ta.
colour
It was it was bright orange.
Lovely.
Yeah, it was. It was gorgeous.
I
and
suggest you called it My Little Pony, but you...
No. That's not manly enough for a Ford Mustang. I know it was a lovely car, and as you both well know, that
Yeah,
Chris and I actually
absolutely.
took it across Europe on a charity drive.
What was your
basically.
first car, actually?
My first car was a Mini. I had
enough.
two Minis. I had a normal Mini, I think it was a 998 engine, and then I had a Mini Clubman as well, which was
Oh, yeah.
a bit more of a bluff front.
Yes.
Would you like a list of all my cars?
Did you have
And
one
we
of
haven't
the
got
twin
time.
carb? What are they called? The twin carb ones?
Twin car
No.
Mini?
No, what are they called? The carbs, those special carbs that the minis have. Do you know what I'm on about?
No?
I'll look it up.
All right, thank you.
Clubman?
No, I had
No.
a Clubman.
No. Cooper?
Cooper, Mini Cooper.
Oh no, I didn't have a
S.
Mini Cooper. Oh god, no,
They
I
have-
was
what are
only.
the carbs in it are called something special. Sorry, we've gone off.
Yeah. What's your...
Well, my
Have you
first
owned a
car-
car that he hadn't
yes.
repossessed when he was a baby?
Yeah. Well, I'm
Got some
not.
stories about that.
I'm not a car snob really at all. So my first car was my mum's Allegro, which was lilac and had a square
Got a steering wheel.
But I did.
It was also known
I
as
did
a
stuff
Squircle.
to it. I got a Pioneer sound system with those big
Yeah.
back shelf speakers,
Woofers.
and unbelievably, I put a bucket seat in it. and change the steering wheel to a little. It was the most ridiculous. So I'd be hammering down the
You
motorway,
pimped an Allegro.
shaking like that, with music so loud that I couldn't actually hear anything going on.
Have you got any photos?
I see.
Please,
But my
I'd like to see
favourite
a
car
photo.
was an ex-Redbridge Borough Council gas van with an orange flashing light on the top, which at the time was great because it shipped people around everywhere. It was good fun.
Awesome.
And it still worked, the light.
He's too cool.
These two cool.
Too cool.
No, well, I think Mustang's probably a better.
Mine was a purple Chevette called Doris the Maroon Saloon. That had a name, Doris the Maroon Saloon. And I remember taking it to the car wash to clean it the first day I got it, and I blew the wing off with a jet wash.
Was that your nan's car?
Yeah, Doris. My name was Doris. Doris the Maroon Saloon.
Very sweet.
It had a song and everything. And I tried to put a stereo in it, and I managed to wire it up so you could either have the stereo working, but nothing else.
Right.
Lights, anything that had electrical supply.
I have got a good.
Not work, or you could have all the important things like indicators working, but no stereo. So stereo was on a lot. If you could watch a movie for the first time again, what would the movie be and why would you watch it? I hate this question because it says movie. Let's ask
Film.
Let's ask it properly. If you could watch a film for the first time again, what film would you watch?
That's really hard.
God, that's really difficult because there's just so many films.
There are. Wise words, mate.
I thank you.
There's literally hundreds.
I've looked at most of them. This is almost an impossible question.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah,
So,
that
I mean,
Don't have to answer it. It's not.
well, the what? I mean,
determined to.
have you got any? What's your favourite film?
One of my favourite films is Good, Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah.
Would you want to watch it again for the first time, or did you watch it for the first time and think I didn't really get that, and you warmed to it?
Well, I think actually you're right. I think that's something I've grown into over a period of years. Inception.
Oh yeah.
I'd really
Quite recent
really
one.
like to. Yeah, I'd really like to watch Inception again without not knowing about it, because that was brilliant. I was just all captured within that
Yeah.
movie, and also Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Blade
I
Runner.
go for the original Blade Runner,
Yeah, the original Blade
fair
Runner.
enough.
which I saw in an Italian cinema.
But I suppose
Did you understand any of it?
No, it's in English.
Oh, okay.
one film I can watch over and over again is The Graduate
Okay.
with Dustin Hoffman in it,
Yeah.
and
Not
which
the
is a
emoji-
lovely
Not the
film.
emoji film.
And it's actually the music in it is obviously all Simon Garfunkel's
Yeah.
got, all with Nana Lloyd,
Oh yeah.
which is a lovely cult film now, but it's a very funny film.
Like I said, one of my favourite films is Angry Birds. Brilliant.
Is that
the recent
one,
version
the
or-
cartoon one, or is it something else?
It's a computer animated.
Oh, I see what you
film.
mean.
Angry
It's
Birds,
not-
very funny.
Not a load of women trying to
One
have a
from
go
the
at it.
70s.
No, not that one.
Angry Birds.
Don't watch
Hold
those
on,
kind of films.
it's a recruitment question. It's a similar vein, but a slight change in the syntax here. What are your top tips to any employer looking to recruit?
Oh, this list could be endless. My top tips would be, first and foremost, and this might sound like not the right thing to say, but
Uh-oh.
do you really need that person?
Okay.
Do you genuinely really need that person to do that job? If
For
you
what?
do, if you really revisited it and you definitely want it, then make sure you understand fully what you want that person to do.
I think that's good advice.
Yes, definitely.
I'm still a bit confused.
In what way?
Start again. Do I really want that person?
Yeah,
do you mean the actual role or the individual?
The role, I think
Yeah, the role.
Ah,
Yeah, because
okay.
sometimes I think sometimes something can happen within an organisation that has an adverse effect on other departments, and people put job descriptions together that they might think they like. But if you actually halfway through the recruitment process, you kind of go back and chat to them again, and they've pared back the job a little bit to become something different.
Yeah.
Any of this is making sense whatsoever. So it is.
You're nodding.
I'm just nodding. Sorry, that's a twist.
He's nodding. He's nodding off. Go on then.
No, I think you're right.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree.
Thank you.
Well, I was going to say there's probably a difference between the sort of corporate end of the market
Right.
and what probably we deal with quite a bit, which is SMEs, where actually the cost of an extra person is a massive chunk on their costs, basically. Make sure that you nail the job description, because that's the thing that first we use to recruit from, and secondly, any applicants, that's what they look at, and that's what their expectations of the role are. And if you get the job spec right, when somebody walks in on the first day, they sort of know what's expected of them, and the amount of times that doesn't really happen that's a big thing, I think.
So raise your glasses to another recruitment top tip.
Thank you very much.
Tips.
There you go, it's a top tip.
Top tips, do you
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
so.
well,
So
I think so.
Make sure you really know what they're needed for, what they're going to do.
Yes.
Make sure you know the job description. And there was a third in there, I think, wasn't it?
I've got a third, but it's slightly along the same lines. It's. Do you need a recruitment agency for it?
Go on.
Okay. There are.
Word of mouth.
Yeah, you might be the same. You might be the same. I'm in it to. I'm in this. It's not for the money. It is to do the job properly. And if I can see a way that a client can potentially recruit without the use of me, I will advise them on that. I once went to a client where they wanted a
You
member
were
of
a rubbish
staff.
debt collector, weren't you?
I gave money out, basically.
I'll lend it to you.
Yeah. Oh, you start. Yeah, if I lend you this, can you give it me back? No, seriously.
Yeah,
though,
no, okay.
I went to see a client, and they were looking for somebody. And as I walked in, I noticed they'd got a vacancy board outside, and they were on a very main road. And this job, there was nothing on there, basically. And I said to them, "Have you tried advertising this yourself? You have a vacancy board outside." And they said no.
To be fair, that's twice in the last week I've been contacted by new prospective clients who are asking to recruit somebody.
Oh, who's that?
And when you look on their website, they haven't even got it on their own. They haven't even put the job out there anywhere, which is quite
These are real top tips. Raise your glasses for real recruitment
Well,
tips.
Don't use a recruitment
from
agency,
recruiters.
apparently.
Do it yourself.
But
Yeah.
well, word of mouth is it.
Yeah.
The only one thing I would say is you find a lot of small to medium-sized businesses that are growing, and the first thing often when a company starts to do that is they go out word of mouth and they employ people they know. So the downside of that is often then as the company grows, the people they've employed, the job outgrows them, and then it becomes very difficult when you know somebody or it's the son of a mate or something to deal with all that. So often I get contacted by people who've got to a certain point with their company and they've run out of options like that, but also there are people in that business that the job has outgrown, but they're stuck knowing how to deal with that because they know their mother or something like that. It's not easy.
Okay.